This is the Zhiyun Molus G200, and it might just be one of the most impressive lights I have come across for filmmaking, videography and YouTube, and there is one main reason for that, and that is how powerful it is for the size of it. Let me show you just how powerful it is. 1%, 10%, 50%, it's getting bright, 75, 100%. Look how bright it is. It's crazy. I need sunglasses. Believe it or not, that is not it. I'll talk more about that in a second. I'm going to pop it down there. That is at 1%. Now, Zhiyun did very kindly send me this light for free to test out for this video, but they've not asked me to say anything in particular, so all these thoughts in this video are my own. So the Zhiyun G200 comes with this small soft shell carry case, which is perfect if you're a filmmaker that is traveling to different shoot locations every single day. And I love it when gear comes with its own specific carry case, because it means you haven't got to go out and find your own and use stuff that gear doesn't really fit in, but you try and force it in. It's just there, it's nice and easy. Inside the case, as well as the light itself, you also get a reflector and the power adapter and cable, and also the control panel. So even though this light is so small in size, it still has a full-size Bowens mount on it, which means that you can attach all of your favorite accessories, whether that is softboxes, lanterns, snoots, barn doors, you name it. Whatever you've got, you can put on this tiny little light. And that just makes it such a versatile light to be able to use in so many different situations. As the name suggests, the G200 is a 200 watt light, and the light that I'm using right now to film this video, and the light that I've been using for the last 2 or 3 years, is the Aperture Amaran 100X, which again, as the name suggests, is a 100 watt light. The difference being, even though there's a difference in power from 100 to 200 watts, the 100 watt light is more than double the size of the G200, which is pretty impressive. Just so that you can get a rough idea, when I'm filming a video like this, I typically have my softbox set up just to the side here, so I can get half of my face with light and create a little bit of a shadow on this side, and that's called Rembrandt lighting, and it helps to create a little bit of depth within the image. But typically when I'm using the Aperture 100X, I'm at around about 50 to 60% power. When I do exactly the same thing with the G200, I'm at 15% power. But as I mentioned before, when I showed you 100% power, I said that this light could go even further than 100%. And that is because this light is technically a 200 watt light, but it has a max mode which pushes it to 300 watts. You can get 300 watts power from that little thing. To put it into max mode and access 300 watts power, you press and hold on both dials on the control panel, which will automatically give you that 300 watts of power and set the color temperature to 4300. However, even though it does that, you still have full access to the full temperature range that this light offers, which is 2300 kelvins to 6500 kelvins. So you have more than enough room to be able to light the scene exactly how you want and create the look that you are trying to go for in your videos. Having a light like this as well that offers this much power means that it is much easier to be able to balance your light with the natural light as well, and that's really handy, for instance, if you are filming towards a window. Now typically when you are doing that, you're going to want to expose for the window, because that is going to be the brightest part of the image, and then you're going to want to balance the light in the room to be able to match the light outside. If you don't have a light that is bright enough, however, you're not going to be able to do that. Let me know in the comments below if you want a full video on this. With a light that is so small and powerful, it needs a pretty serious cooling system built in it so that it doesn't overheat, and this has one. If you look on the back of the light and the control panel itself, they both have pretty big fans built straight into them, and honestly 90% of the time you won't even hear it. It's only running at 1% right now, granted, so it's not very hot at all, but the fan isn't even on. The Aperture Amaran 100X, if I'm quiet now, I can hear it. I'll do some side-by-side sound comparisons when this is on compared to the Amaran, just so you can hear the difference. So this has been on for 5 minutes, running at 70%, and it's still not even come on yet. It's running silently. When you stick the G200 into 300 watt mode, it's a little bit of a different story. It gets very hot and very loud pretty quickly, and that's because it is using so much more power. It needs more air to cool it down, so it's obviously going to be louder and hotter. So if you are going to be using it around microphones, it might just be something to be aware of, but most of the time, like I mentioned before, I'm using this at probably no more than 20%, and at that you don't even notice it at all. It is much quieter than my Amaran. The other thing to be aware of when you are using it in 300 watt mode is that when it does get too hot and it is likely to overheat, it will reduce the power itself back to what you were using originally. It won't turn itself off, but it will cut the power so that you can't use it in 300 watt mode until it cools down. I should probably do some more tests on that and see how long it lasts, but I've heard that it lasts a fair while in 300 watt mode. It's just a little bit louder and a little bit hotter. When it comes to powering this light, you have to use the power adapter that is included, and that means plugging it into the wall. And I think that is the one area that I would really like to see something different with this light, because imagine if you could power this light from a V-mount battery like you can a lot of other lights. I love how small and portable this thing is, and the fact that it comes with its own carry case only adds to that, but I think having to plug it into a wall and more than likely having to use it inside because of that just ever so slightly limits it. Because if you could use it with a V-mount battery, you could literally take this anywhere. Imagine just being able to go out and film in the middle of a field, on a mountain, in the forest with this light. That would open up so many more possibilities. One other small area that I would really like to see this light improved is with the little knobs and dials that you use to tighten the head on the light stand and tilt it. Now don't get me wrong, they're very strong and sturdy. I just wish they were slightly bigger because they can be a little bit fiddly sometimes, especially when you've got a big softbox attached to it. And I know they're small because the light is small and they want to keep the whole size footprint down. That is the idea behind this thing. But the handle on the Aperture Amaran 100X is much bigger, and I know that light is bigger, so again it's a bit of a catch-22, but that makes it great to use because you can get a full grip of it and it makes it much easier to twist. That is me properly nitpicking though, so it's not really that much of an issue. Some other great little features with this light are the fact that you can use it with the ZY Vega app, and that is perfect for if you have the light rigged up high in the ceiling or if it's further across the room and you just need to make a quick change. That is great because you can quickly and easily control the brightness and the temperature of the light from your phone, and also access the 300 watt power mode. And it's also got music mode as well, which you access by pressing and holding the dial on the right. And I'm not sure if it's in the control panel or the light itself, but there's a little microphone which picks up beats of music, which is perfect for if you're making music videos maybe, and the light will then react to the music. So I've stuck the G200 into music mode by pressing and holding the dial on the right. It occasionally seems to be flickering like that, I'm assuming when it hears a noise, like if I stamp my foot. But I'm going to click play on some royalty-free music from Audio. If you're interested in some royalty-free music, hit the link in the description down below. I'm going to hit play, we'll see what happens to the light. I'm not really sure what beat it's following, but it's flashing. Overall, I think the G200 is a brilliant light to have in your kit, and it has made a huge difference to my lighting setup in this room. I now use it as my main key light, and I have my Amaran 100X set up nice and high in the corner of the room to use as a backlight. But there aren't many other options out there for something so small and so powerful for the price of this thing. It costs 370 quid, and if you use the link in the description down below and the code zhiyun10zh, you can get 10% off. So thank you very much to Zhiyun for that, and again thank you to Zhiyun for sending this light out to make this video. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you want to know more about lighting and exposing correctly in camera, I recommend that you watch this video next, and I will see you then.